Welcome back to Cheese La Vida. Got a new fucking guest, SummerBoi Sam.
What's going on, everybody?
He does all the artwork. Well, maybe not all the artwork, but a lot of the artwork. If you look up pretty much any type of creative outlet I've done, Sam's likely done some artwork. You want to introduce yourself real quick? Say some things?
I feel like you already introduced me pretty well.
Real sweet guy.
But I can give it a shot. So, as he said, it's me, SummerBoi Sam. I'm probably going to start using that. You can't trademark that. I'm going to start using that. That's good. But I'm the guy who does his artwork for most of his, just your titles?
You've done the podcast. You did something for the music, which I've also used for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. That was the Eagle Gladiator thing, right?
That was the Bird Gladiator. And I feel like there's something else you did that I can't remember right now, actually.
I remember I did your logo and the...
Something else, though.
Something other than that?
Maybe that was it. I don't know. In any case, you've done the podcast logo and the Bird Gladiator. There's some other things in the works. That makes me wonder, though, how exactly do you do what you do, man?
Well, like any really poor artist who uses a laptop to draw on, I use a free program, and the program that I'm using, which I'm not plugging or anything like that, is called Krita.
Oh yeah, we're broke, man. This is the most live commentary ever. This is raw and dirty.
But yeah, I use a program called Krita, and it's been pretty solid. I actually got it from a YouTuber that I watch, because I watch like a few artist YouTubers, just to get like inspiration or like find out different ways you can like get around paying for things.
Absolutely.
As cheap as that sounds, I love it, because Krita is a pretty bomb software, dude.
What can you do with this Krita?
Well, it's a lot like Photoshop in the sense of you don't really want to edit photos, but you just want to draw. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just a really...
When you say draw, you have like a pencil, one of those
talking about like sketching
drawing tools, or do you use your actual finger?
My finger.
I mean, are you doing this on an iPad?
Oh no, dude, it's all on my laptop. Okay. I just got an HP laptop that I hooked a one of those drawing tablets up to. I just use a stylus and draw on it.
Yeah, okay, that's the word I'm looking. One of those drawing utensils.
The drawing things, yeah.
Something I can't do very well. One of those. So you do everything by hand? You're not...
Yep. Everything's by hand. I think at most, if I need help with something, I'll take a picture, maybe rendition it back over with my own kind of design on it. As shameless as that could be, a lot of people actually do that for most of their artwork.
Well, you have to redraw a lot of things, right?
Oh, of course.
There's always revisions necessary, but I guess my question more so is, how many types of artists are there nowadays? Like, you don't just draw things anymore, right? There's other types of...
Oh, there's totally still sketch artists and stuff.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, how deep can we go into, like, categorizing how many avenues of drawing?
Oh, I don't know about that, man. There's a lot you can choose from. You got, well, shit, just to start things off, you got your sketch artists with like basic paper and pencil. Then you got ink artists who actually like to take the paper and pencil sketches, maybe refine it a bit, detail it out, make it look crisp. And then, I don't know, I like to do some of that when I'm bored, but I guess for the most part, I like to do more digital art, like as we're talking about with like computer art and whatnot, just because I hate coloring in general. I have pencils, I have markers. I'll do it sometimes just to like, I don't know, refine my practice of it, but no, I just like to do more digital art because you can get away with a lot more mistakes.
How often do you do physical art? You said in your free time, but I need to know how free is your time exactly.
So, free time, not to get into anything deep, it's not as much as I would like it to be, just because a lot of personal stuff is going on, and that's why sometimes I have to cut back on actually working on things that you want me to do, because I want to finish that next project that you got me on.
Oh yeah, that'll be a nice little playlist cover. I like it. I like the idea.
But again, Krita's not the best thing for typed text. I'm still trying to work out some of the things with it, but I got the background done, like the explosion.
Oh yeah.
It's just the text that's like getting me right now.
Now you have to do that by hand.
Pretty much.
How do you implement that digitally after the fact?
What do you mean?
So you said you're doing it by hand?
Well, yeah.
So you're drawing it. Okay.
No. I'm not like drawing bases. I'm all on the computer.
Okay.
Whenever it's like professional work, it's on the computer. hobby or just like I want to draw is probably going to be on a notepad or something, or a sketchbook that I got.
Now, let's say you got something in your sketchbook that you like and you want to do that digitally. Is there a way for you to easily transfer that from the page to the computer, or do you have to redraw that?
You got to redraw it, but I'll just take a picture of it, send it through email, and then just open it back up in Krita and just outline it and start from scratch.
Really difficult?
No, it's just tracing lines. You just copy what you just did, except it's on something else.
Would you consider painting to be like a physical type of drawing, I suppose?
Now, I don't paint. Like I said before, earlier, I'm not much for coloring. And I've tried to get into painting. Truly, I have, but I don't know. It's just something that I'm not all about. I don't like to...
So you don't drift away far too much from what you know?
Yeah, I'm more so just traditional.
Okay. Well, I guess we can get more into the, not so much the personal stuff, but more so, how did you decide to even get into this type of career? Because it's pretty unconventional.
I don't know. Whenever I could hold a pencil, I like to just doodle. I think one of the biggest things I ever draw was like a fat dragon with like a lot of stuff going on inside of it.
What kind of stuff?
Well, okay. Think of like a really big circle, but it had a dragon head. It looked like a weird giraffe monster thing.
Is this drawing ass by your standards now?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I was like maybe 5 when I did that.
Oh, come on. That's when you're most creative.
I mean, hey, that fat dragon had a lot going on inside of its belly. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
Did he eat a bunch of people? Did he eat this
He ate
stuff?
a lot of people. He had some cows. He had like a little laboratory inside of it, I think, where he made fire, I guess. I'm not sure how it happened. But I think if I made that nowadays, it'd probably be like a metal dragon.
Was there supposed to be more dimensions? Like,
Oh yeah, it was like an X-ray.
Did you do a good job blending that?
Oh yeah, dude. My 5-year-old self, I was able to mesh it all so well together.
So how do you develop your style as you go along?
Practice. That's all it is, dude. You ever talk to anybody who makes any kind of art, it's all about practice. Your own style is what you make for yourself when you're not thinking about anything, is I guess the best way I can say that.
So how would you define what you do then? What type of art style, what kind of artist would that make you?
So honestly, my kind of art style was just doing monsters. I don't know. I'll just sit back, hold on to that piece of paper, and I'll just start drawing whatever comes to mind. And it's generally just like some kind of weird monster. I'm not too great at people. I've been trying to work on that more, but the human body is one of the most hard things that you can ever draw. And I'm not the best at it, so I like to make my own weird monster form things.
Where did this interest in monsters start, you think?
Oh, dude, I think as a kid, I was one of those kids that was like super nerdy, and I loved dragons.
Yeah, I
Middle
wasn't
school
so
in the
much
library.
into dragons, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. I was, like I said, I was that nerdy kid. You'd catch me playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Back at...
I loved Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I don't know, I never really got into the mythology of the dragons.
I didn't get into the mythology. I just thought they were cool. Have you ever heard of a little character called Spyro the Dragon? He was kind of my ambition.
I preferred Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, that's pretty good, but
See what I'm saying, man? Like, I just never... Like, dragons were, like, cool, but the whole medieval dragon time period thing was never really my forte.
That's fine, man. But, like I said, that's how I was. Was that dragon kid. I just liked how they looked.
Dragon Tales?
That shit was pretty cool.
Did you watch Dragon Tales?
I think so.
I watched Dragon Tales.
You watched it?
That's maybe why I hate
You're not
dragons.
about dragons, but, ooh. Yeah, that's not a great, like, place to start.
No, absolutely not. So did you get into like Godzilla or something though?
Oh, dude, I love
That's
Godzilla.
where I
love
got
Godzilla.
into monsters.
I'm super excited for the new movie.
Don't get me started, man. You're looking at me like you're disappointed, but I'm
Well, you
loving
sound
it.
like you're not into it.
You're gonna get me started on a completely different path.
Okay, we'll skip that for now then.
Yeah, so I just want to get a general sense of the type of influences you would
Just
have
know
gotten, you know?
that I was born in 1995, and as soon as I could start remembering, my entire world was more slow. Started from Power Rangers, Spyro from gameplay, and I guess the other big thing would just be like random stuff because I was kind of traveling around a lot as a kid. So
Do you want to get into that a little more, or is that a little too much?
that might be too much for now. We can skip it for now.
Did you read a lot of comic books then?
I didn't. I did not read any comic books until maybe I was
That's
like
really
16.
odd considering everyone loves superheroes now.
I know.
So
Well,
did you read manga?
I didn't. Okay. Books were not my thing. Let me rephrase that. Books are not my thing, as in I cannot just sit there and read an entire like novel. I'm that kind of person that needs pictures to look at. Otherwise, I just lose attention of the book. I can't just sit there and read word for word through like a 500-page book. I can't do that. My mind's just too ADHD for it, and I get too off track. So when I say that, though, is that I didn't get into comics because I didn't really know what I would be into. I wasn't a big Batman fan. Superman was cool for me just because he was just like this dude with superpowers that nothing could rival, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just wasn't the most interesting thing for me. I think Spider-Man was my first guy.
Aren't really into Superman for that reason.
That's fair.
So I get that.
But personally, I'm not even a really big DC fan. I'm definitely more Marvel.
My heart.
Sorry, dude. I know. I see all your books in the back there, but Marvel stole my heart. Spider-Man, he's my guy.
Some say that without Spider-Man, there's not really a Marvel comic book universe.
Do you know who the first superhero was? I know it was Superman in the DC era, but like through Stan Lee, it was Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they came first and then Spider-Man followed shortly after.
I just remember the first comic that I ever got of Spider-Man was him.
That was, 1962?
Something like that. But I remember the first comic book I got of Spider-Man was him fighting Venom. And
I also had that comic book.
Venom is like the
That shit was
coolest character
fire.
ever. He's one of my favorite characters because he's actually a lot more deep than people would assume, because he's not just a villain. He starts by being a villain because he's pissed at Spider-Man.
Well, I said in a previous podcast that I always thought his origin was the most interesting part of him. Now, later down the line, people get into Venom because of reasons like you just said. But I'll say, like, him and the succeeding Carnage storyline where he births him in the cell next door with Cletus Cassidy, great storytelling.
Yeah.
So, like, that has to be the most interesting part of him.
Yeah.
I would argue. He's still a cool character, though.
I'm not a big fan of the Venom movie. I'm not. Tom Hardy, you're a great actor, but that movie was very lackluster for me. I don't know. That movie just wasn't for me.
Was it the art direction they went in? Did it have to do with anything with what you would have done?
No. I think what killed it for me was the poor directing of the entire film, the really simplistically stupid story.
Okay, so you do go more beyond than just visual designs and things like that.
The visuals were great. Venom was the best part of the movie. His actual character when he's buff Venom. He's not just like weird, skinny Spider-Man 3 Venom. He's jacked, I'm gonna fuck you up Venom. I agree. I love that. But like I said, story's just weak. It's weak, and I didn't really like much of it, especially when I found out that apparently they cut half of the movie out, which were the best parts that even Tom Hardy says in an interview, and the fact that it was also supposed to be rated R, but then got cut down to a PG-13 movie so that they could sell more tickets to kids, that just kind of flopped it for me, dude. Like, imagine if Logan was PG-13. Would it be a good movie still?
No.
Do you think him slashing people and stabbing them with his claws would be amazing if, like, you just saw it off camera? He, like, swipes at somebody and you don't see anything?
Absolutely not. You compromised your artistic intent. I agree.
And the cheese just grows on it because since it's PG-13, but it was clearly supposed to be a rated R movie. Every time he bites heads off, it's just, like, an off-screen thing. And it's like, but I want to see that. Like, I want to see Venom. Go Venom on people. It's just weak. That's all I can say for it. It's weak.
I didn't know that's the direction this was going to go in, honestly. But I'm glad you got that off your chest.
We're just talking. I have a lot built up, man. That Venom movie hurt me.
Is it because you truly love the character that much, or is it
really
just
do.
because he has a cool design?
Oh, no, dude. I love his character. I've been following him since, I don't know, his origin from when I first saw it to, like, Carnage coming out, then Toxic coming out, then the 5 other spawns of Venom, and that time that he got, like, 50 heads for whatever reason because he fell into some mutational pool. Like, him now, they found, like, it's a true origin of the Venom symbiotes. They're called Clintar, which is actually a word by their god that stands for prison. Venom's just a dope character. He's definitely a high inspiration for a lot of the things I like to do just because it's a normal looking dude, but he's got like that mound of teeth. He's scary.
I guess that's where I was trying to go with it, but I couldn't honestly think of the word because I had no idea that it was going to take this swerve in the podcast. But yeah, so I'm guessing there's obviously more to the character and the movie than just the way things are designed, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that as someone who, likes to make a living off drawing and designing things, that the initial design of the character is what resonated with you initially before anything
of course.
else.
If he just looked like a blob of nothing, then I'd probably not even bat an eye at him. But
Okay, yeah.
his design is so well made, it's just hard to not look at him.
How do you go as the kid making fat blobs of dragons, seeing Venom, and then going where you're at now? At what point do these two things merge and then, get inspired from other things?
It's all about that monster design. You just draw, and then you eventually create different things. You see new things, and it's like...
So you just naturally pick up on things. There's not really a way for you to explain how you...
No, there really isn't. It's just, you're trying to make Venom, but then you make your own OC, and then after that, it's like, oh, I just made a comic of my own, and it's completely original. It just happens.
Do you make comics?
I want to.
Is that the dream?
Yeah, I can say that.
Okay.
I have been getting into a lot more comic books than I used to. Do you read Saga at all?
I do not. Would you like to tell everyone about Saga?
Boy, that's a hard thing to talk about.
Why is that a hard thing to talk about?
Saga is about, with the main characters, it is about... God, I gotta think about this.
How long has this been running?
It's on its 9th book now.
Okay.
So it's about 2 characters that eventually leads up to a plethora of all different characters.
An ensemble cast.
Yeah, there's a big cast. But the 2 main characters, it's like a spacey futuristic kind of thing, but it's very acid trippy.
Okay.
So the 2 characters are on warring factions.
I'm into 70s shit.
They're in warring factions. One's like moon people. They're like weird goat wizard dudes that can literally cast magic.
Okay.
And then the other side is like, I forget what they're called. I haven't read it in a while, but they're these people that live on other planets, and they're like government military. They can fly. It's like a battle between the horns and the wings.
So they don't look like people?
They do look like people. It's just one has horns, the other one has wings. But they're in warring factions. Eventually a horn dude gets with a wing female. They have the sex.
Is it good sex?
It's pretty good. It's all really well made. But that was a good word. Let me rephrase that. It's all very well drawn. But the entire time, it's just them trying to get away from their war because these guys, they hate each other for a reason that hasn't been said yet. And they're just getting into shenanigans. Eventually, they're like bounty hunters that come after them. They're like these sex crusaders that try to hunt them down. This news cast of people that are like homosexual fish people are trying to hunt for them to like get the biggest scoop.
Homosexual fish people?
Homosexual fish people. That is what I said.
Figure.
They're fish people who are very gay. That's all I can say. They're good characters.
I'm just trying to think about in what world a fish is a homosexual. Like, how does that work?
You got to think about it, dude. It's all in the future.
Are they still
it's
male
all space
and female?
age shit.
I thought it'd be like just one fish gender.
Again, they're just like normal people like me and you, but they got like fishy looking bits. So the entire time they're just trying to escape their war.
Arousing.
Dude, I'll bring it next time. I'll let you take a look. I got all of them so far.
Are the pages sticking together?
A little bit. We got a little crease going on.
Who's drawing this? Do you know? Do you follow artists like that as far as comic book artists?
So I haven't really read that comic in a while. It's been a minute since they've released their last volume. But
so you haven't kept up because of that?
No.
Or is the story getting bad?
No, the story's great. It's getting better than ever, honestly. Because the kid's born. She's, I think, 11 now, so she's getting older. And it's kind of weird how much they're, like, touching on the fact of humanity. Because these 2 people are trying to, like, raise their daughter in a warring world.
Yeah.
Or not a world, but a warring universe, since it's all in the future.
Yeah.
They're literally riding around in a tree in space. Don't ask me, man.
Like Kirby's tree? Does it talk?
No.
Oh, okay.
They feed it stuff, and it just flies in space. They almost got eaten by a giant baby in space. Like, dude,
like,
you know why it's so hard?
2001?
It's just a giant baby. It's just, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Do you see why it's so hard to talk about this? There's so much going on in it.
I feel like I'm kind of making fun of it, but I'm actually
dude,
enjoying what you're telling me right now. It's
You're kind of
funny.
getting it spot on. The Star Child, that happens. And it's like a dying child too, so it's like erupting, and they're too close to it because it's like a black hole thing, I guess. But they got to get out of that situation. They eventually do. Bada boom, bada
Would
bing.
Chris Cornell be proud of the black hole, son?
He would be so happy about that.
Won't
Literal.
you come? Do you have any artists who personally influenced you though? Like anyone in general, any type of artist that you looked at their art and you were like, that's the shit. I need to keep up with this person. I need to follow their work and see how they progress, or however you want to feel about their work.
Personally, no. And it's weird to say that because that's, I guess, what you should be doing if you have somebody that inspires you on that.
Yeah, well, that's pretty universal. Any
Yeah.
type of field, really.
But I guess I'm much more of a drifter artist when it comes to that kind of thing.
Lone wolf.
Lone wolf.
Isn't that harder for you then?
No, because I like to keep my mind open to different styles. And yeah, there's some artists I can say that are better, but I can't remember any of their names. I got some bad memory when it comes to that.
You smoking too much dope, kid.
Too much of that ganja. But, no, man, when I say drifter artist, it's just like I see something, I want to emulate it in my own way.
Does that
Just like Soulja
dope
Boy.
head feed the artist? Does one hand feed the other?
Hey, man, I can make some psychedelic shit, like, under the influence.
Hey, that's, I think it's a perfectly legit question. I mean, everyone's always said that drugs
They stimulate
help
your mind,
stimulate
man.
creativity and make
They'll
art
stimulate
better.
your mind.
And I mean, I guess to a certain degree that's true, but don't you worry that it could make you lazier?
No.
No, never?
When I'm lazy, I can just sit there with a drawing pad. Man, you can't say that laziness is a bad thing, though. Because guess what? If you're being lazy, enjoy the laziness. Sometimes you need that relaxation. You need that recuperation, And just chilling, getting your mind recovered, you just need to blow off some steam. Being lazy is the one thing that the world needs to focus more on, personally.
Is that the worldview according to Sam?
I think so. Everybody's so hyperactive in everything that they do.
Wound up like
Strangling
a
the world
spring?
dry, dude. It's just like everybody needs to take a step back and just chill out.
Well, I'm going to take a step forward and ask a tough question.
Oh boy.
So, if you don't follow any other artists, you don't remember names, and you're just kind of drifting around, bouncing off ideas, and you don't really have too many influences, what made you want to take the path that you're on? How does one even follow that path?
Well, I mean, nobody needs an influence to really get anywhere in life. Shit, I could be my own influence, just driving myself to do better each day kind of thing.
Okay.
But that's all I do. I just do it to do it. I'll do it for enjoyment. I'll do it for work, professionality. Like,
Now, at what point did you decide to take that path?
I'd have to say out of college, near my college end, because this is where it's going to get a little personal. So,
Hey, that's what I was trying to pry at, man. I was slowly
I'll just
chipping
say
away.
this. I'll just say this. For my high school career, I didn't really care. I was just a slump for it. Drawing was just a fun thing to do. I never really had any like big ambitions for it. I went to college thinking that I wanted to do video game designing, like modeling and then like texturing and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, I wanted to be a video game designer at one point in life, but then I realized
You want a good influence. Video games are a great influence. All the stories, the characters, the designs.
I agree with that. I'm incredibly happy that more people are realizing that the storylines you can get from video games should be worthy of being deemed art.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
I'm glad that I lived to see that happen.
But what were we talking about?
How you decided to become an artist, because you were saying
Right.
you were just spending a lot of time playing video games, wanting to be a video game designer, and that's why you went to college initially.
Yep. So I start college. I'm going for my bachelor's in 3D animation, or 3D media arts and animation.
Now, how do you go about that? I like animation a lot, personally, so how does one go about doing that animation stuff? Like, what's
So-
the software you use?
I'll tell you in a sec. So college, for me, I'm not saying this to discredit anybody, but if you want to do art, do it on your own time. Don't go to college or like some pristine school to get some kind of degree for art. What you do as an artist is what matters, and what you show is what people are going to look at. They aren't going to care that you have some piece of paper that says you did school for 4 years. They want to know that you can actually draw something good, make something good, create something good. That's all they want. You could be the scum of the earth, but you draw, I don't know, something really, really well made, and somebody steps by and they're like, hey, I'm going to publish that. Can I get your info? That's it. That's all you got to do. But again, throughout college, to answer your question, we used a Maya software, which is a animation modeling program.
Yeah, South Park uses it, or they did at one point.
Did
I
they
don't
use
know.
Maya?
I know they did at one point. I don't think they do anymore.
Well, that's what they teach you, just because that was the most like mainstream animation software that they had /
Is it
modeling.
like the most basic as well, I'm guessing? At least by now standards.
Yeah, I could say that. I would say that Maya and Blender are like the closest substandard, but I think Maya was more so my favorite because I tried a little bit of Blender, and it might just be like my actual experience with Maya might have keyed it better with that, but I don't really like Blender just for what it was given. It's
Was
a lot.
it the user interface?
I think so. Blender's a lot more, I don't want to sound bad for saying this, but child friendly it felt like. While Maya feels a lot more like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, I guess like professional with it. Like you can do a lot with Maya. Like
Looks sharper. Looks
yeah, you
more
could say
clean.
that. Yeah. They're both good in that regard, right?
A little bit higher production quality.
That's the thing though, is that like they're both like they're literally set by set, like the same kind of thing. It's hard to explain. A lot of this shit is just hard to
It
explain.
might
with
just
it.
even be personal preference.
That's what I meant to say.
Oh, okay.
It's all like personal preference. I was doing Maya way more than Blender, and then I got a chance to use Blender, and it just didn't feel as right. Just because different interface, different kind of stuff that they're trying to go on.
Well, sometimes you just prefer something towards something else.
Totally.
You know? Like, I've been using Logic for a minute now. If I switched to Fruity Loops, I'd probably just be like,
Yeah.
Even though it's probably better, honestly.
You're just used
I
to
would
Logic,
just be
though.
like,
Yeah.
I need this gray background, man.
Yeah.
So, I get that. How did you switch over, though, from animation to drawing?
So, okay. How did I switch over from animation to drawing? Well, I'll tell you right now that the one thing that really killed my ambition for wanting to do animation and 3D art was a lot of my peers, the other students in the class that I was working with. Oh my god, they sucked me dry of all interest in wanting to do that stuff.
Why?
So you'd be sitting in a regular class of like 10 to 20 people, depending
I
on the
was going to
size of
say
it.
20. That's a lot lower than I even thought.
It was like more of a private school, but it's smaller. So you'd be sitting in the class with that many people. The class, like, I didn't really like a lot of the people I was with. Not to be rude about it, but like, they were all like really weird,
Oh, just
furry
go
people.
ahead, man. It's just me and you.
All right, so the people of the
And
school
then
that I
everyone
went to,
listening later, but...
they were just all like what you would assume a furry con was.
Oh.
You would either have people who would like...
Now, are those actually called furry cons? They don't have like a fancier name for that?
I honestly think it'd just be called a furry con.
Alright.
But the entire school, it just felt like everybody was into the same thing, and it was just like really weird.
You weren't into the same things?
No, I'm not really into furries, you know?
What are they into?
Furries.
That's
like
it?
Anthropomorphic people.
That's all they're into.
That's what it felt like. It was either that or really sad, depressing, like, love stories. And it's like nobody had, like, any huge ambition to do anything. And it's like, if they actually got a group together to actually do something, it'd be this really shitty looking thing. And then they'd be like, we worked so hard on this, we want it to be key, we want it to be on our resumes, and it's like, you don't want that on your resume.
This is garbage.
This is absolute trash. You should feel ashamed for working like 3 days on this.
Now, do you think they could apply that same criticism to you, though?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure anybody could say shit about me, but
But
again,
you think you do better work?
now, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm a better artist than any of them are. I'm just saying that school and what they were into.
So, you didn't fall into furry groupthink, basically?
No, I didn't.
What kind of depressing stuff do furries like?
I don't know
You
what
said they
like.
talk about weird, depressing stuff, and I mean, come on, we grew up during the scene phase when people weren't goth or emo anymore. They were scene.
Yeah,
so
they were scene kids.
What the fuck do furries like? You can throw anything at me and I won't be shocked. I'm just genuinely curious.
It was... Okay, so I'm just gonna talk about this one kid who was basically the entire package of what we're talking about.
So this is the amalgamation.
This is the amalgamation of like depressing, romantic, whatever bullshit, along with like everything has to look like a cat or a wolf person with really jacked biceps and stuff.
Okay, let's hear it. I'm fucking ready.
This kid, he was a very outspoken individual, and the fact that he would literally just say whatever came to mind.
We got a brash furry.
Dude, it was like he had Tourette's.
Oh, man.
It was like he had Tourette's and he had to spout out every single thing he had to at one time, but he didn't. He was just weird. And he would just talk about, like, all these, like, things that he would think about, like, man, what if my leopard kid character got with my rhino mommy? And it's just like... he would just
this is a
talk
joke, right?
out loud. No, he would talk
up.
out loud during the class when, like, we were all working. Teacher's done talking, he would just start talking with the people he knew. And he had a little group with them too. So they would all be like divulging their own information about it. And I'm just over there with headphones on like, why are these guys talking about getting some hentai on with their like OC characters? I don't get it, dude. Oh my god. But I guess if you want the depressing part, it'd just be like a lot of suicidal shit that was there, dude. Like,
oh, fuck.
It was bad.
Don't people assume that about, like, all artists, though? That they're, like, really into their art?
Of course.
Like, don't you get that, I'm sure?
I don't, surprisingly. Just because I don't flaunt myself as an artist as much, I'm more so the guy that's just like, here's my card, let me know if you need something done.
And that's how you brand yourself? Just a normal dude?
Basically how I do it. I don't want anybody to be like, oh, look at that guy with his suede jacket and his pompadour.
No, see, this is why you do the artwork for the podcast. I mean, we're doing this in a fucking bedroom with no funding. This is the underground commentary scene, as Nathaniel would say.
Underground.
Have you got to meet Nathaniel yet?
No, I don't think so.
Are you gonna talk some shit real quick about Nathaniel?
Nathaniel, so this is for you. Drawing you need a better picture, dude. That little side portrait you gave me was ass. What was I supposed to do with that?
I took the picture, man.
You took it?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
He said that was his favorite picture of him.
Ooh, ooh, I don't know what to say then, because that's not the best picture I've seen.
What was wrong with it?
It was black and white. The edges of his face were blurry, so I had to improvise on that. He was wearing sunglasses, so I had to just sunglass it up. I didn't get to do anything with his eyes.
He looked great in the picture.
Oh yeah, he looked fabulous.
I mean,
dude.
Eckers
was worse.
No, Eckers was better.
No, I mean like the picture you gave me.
Yeah.
Blurred out Snapchat picture you gave me. Yeah, that was fun to work with too, by the way.
I gave you two very stylized pictures.
Oh, so
and
stylized.
said, please make this somewhat realistic.
Make this happen. Well, hey, I'm glad that I did make that happen because that was hard as shit to do.
Up until now, it was the best podcast I've ever done.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm having a ball over here.
So wait, what do they even talk about?
You didn't listen? See, this is the problem with my audience.
Listen, man, you're on SoundCloud.
Yeah. Well, where am I supposed to go?
YouTube.
Is that where all the cool kids go?
That's where all the mainstreamers go.
See, that's not what I'm going for, though.
What do you mean? You gotta get your voice out there, man.
There's podcasts on SoundCloud.
Oh, I'm sure there is. But I mean, I don't go on SoundCloud.
Are you trying to make storytime animation?
Storytime animation? I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Would it, though?
Sure.
If there's anyone out there listening, since Sam says there's no one on SoundCloud, let me know if you want a storytime animation. So you like video games. We both agree that we're glad video game storylines have now been viewed as art. Mm-hmm. Has video games been an influence? Could you say that? Because you said people aren't.
Oh, well, people are for what they make, but...
Well, I mean specific people.
Right. So, for video games...
Like, did video game art appeal to you and make you want to make art? Is that
Do you remember
the main
Left 4
thing?
Dead?
Of course.
Dude, I used to draw my own tanks and boomers and smokers and
that's
stuff.
the big thing then. That's what I'm getting a feeling of.
Yeah. So again,
I can fuck with that though.
My thing is that I can't just I don't like to just draw people, like just average Joe looking guys or whatever.
Right, you're a furry.
Fuck you. I like to just add something else to it. That's why Left 4 Dead, when I played that was some inspiration because it's like the actual mutated zombies, not just the regular ones. They were pretty dope to look at. You saw a tank, he's like, oh shit, he's gonna slap me off of the tower we're on. I don't want to die already. Smoker, it's like you hear him coughing in the background, and then you hear like as he gets you. And
You're really into these games.
Dude, they were my life. What can I say? Smash Bros. Is kind of taking me over too.
Lately or always?
Always.
So we're going back to the 64, 99, 2000.
Dude, do you know how awesome it was to be an avid player of Pokemon Yellow or Red and Blue, and also Zelda Ocarina of Time, mixed with a little bit of whatever Mario game I was playing, with
64.
Kirby's Dream Land and Metroid, and then next thing you know, there's
a fighting game. Did you play Donkey Kong 64?
I didn't like it.
What?
I was not a fan of Donkey Kong 64.
It had the monkey rap.
So my thing with that, Donkey Kong just wasn't my thing. It was a fun game.
I see a silhouette of a Kong.
It was a fun game. I'll give them that, but it just wasn't my favorite. But
you could switch between the DK crew. I'm heartbroken. Genuinely hurt.
Sorry, dude.
The cartridge was yellow.
Not mine. Mine was a basic, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
color.
that. My aunt had the badass version of it, which
had
really
that
was no
holographic one?
different. It was just yellow.
Oh, it wasn't holographic?
No,
Oh.
it wasn't that cool. Come on.
I had Pokemon Coliseum, and that shit was like purple or something. I think that's the most I had for a game
Now,
card.
see, my copy of Pokemon Coliseum, and when I say mine, I'm using it very liberally because I didn't own a 64, but it was just the standard gray, so...
Really?
I'm kind of upset that you had the cooler Pokemon. Actually, no, I'm not upset because I got the cooler Donkey Kong, so we both got what we needed.
Yours was a little better. I'm not gonna lie.
You didn't like Pokemon Coliseum all of a sudden?
Wait, was Coliseum the one? No, I'm thinking Pokemon Stadium. That was the one where it's like you had
Coliseum,
your little
Stadium, what's the fucking difference?
Same thing, right.
You got people sacrificing their lives out there. Terrible, come on.
Okay, they're dope.
Same thing.
Donkey Kong just wasn't my favorite thing, alright? Have you seen the cartoon? The 3D animated cartoon.
The Donkey Kong cartoon?
The Donkey Kong cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what killed it for me because I remember when that was on TV and I did not like it. Well, surprisingly.
I didn't either. I watched it and I don't know why I kept watching it because I knew it was terrible.
I saw 2 episodes and that's all I needed.
The animation was horrendous.
Oh boy.
And I knew that as a kid. So I don't know why I kept watching that fucking thing. Thank God animation jumped leaps and bounds within the next 4 years of that show. But
yeah.
I mean, whew.
Yeah, that was
rough
bad.
times there.
That was bad and hard for me to want.
It was almost like people looked at South Park and were like, hey, they're getting away with doing the bare minimum. Let's do the same. And it's like, well,
South
you
Park
still need
style work though.
You need good writing. You gotta tell good jokes.
Ooh, boy, I remember one episode. It was like his bitch girlfriend told him that they were broken up for whatever reason, and he goes and gets bananas, proposes to her, but then she gets like kidnapped by King K. Rool. He kidnaps her, and he's like a really weird character because he's not what you would expect. He's like a mix between Crash Bandicoot's the evil doctor dude.
Cortex?
Yeah, Dr. Cortex. It was a mix between him and then like a weird mix between some burly guy. But he was like a really smart and he would talk like, I'm gonna get you this time, Donkey Kong.
Was that better than what they did to King Dedede and Kirby right back at you? I need a monster to cover that there Kirby.
Wait, was that for real?
Yes.
Oh my god, I never saw that.
Dude, you didn't see the show? Mm-mm. Kirby.
No, you're gonna have to show. I remember one of the Kirby cartoons, but it was a lot better than whatever the fuck you're talking about.
Bro, the show, I don't know if the show was ass or not, honestly. Like, I'm still in debate about it, but
Why
like...
does King Dedede sound so racist?
I don't know, man. That's really how he sounded, though. Like, there's a scene in the intro where he's like, "What can I do for you, King Dedede?" Some henchman, and he's just like that. I need a monster to club of that there Kirby. It's fucking terrible.
Okay, that's genius, dude.
Like, I don't know if that's why I don't know if the show is complete ass or not. Like,
no, man, I think that show is
I don't know if
amazing.
that's what they were honestly going for.
I haven't seen it, but I want to see it now. I want to see it now more than I ever have in my entire life.
It's like lounge music or some fucking type of jazz.
What, when Dedede's up?
No, the whole theme song. It's weird. I don't know why they went with the direction they did, but
all I know is that I gotta check out that TV show now. What was it called?
Kirby Right Back at Ya.
Right Back at Ya.
So I mentioned South Park just a moment ago to kind of cap off the influences thing. Would that be another big one? Because we were just talking about them a moment ago and how we'd be okay with them riding off into the sunset. Would that be like another one of your influencers or something like that?
No.
Not
South
at all?
Park as an artistic take is not an influence of mine just because of how simple it is. Like, genuinely bare bones simple with their characters hopping as they move around instead of actually like stepping and whatnot, having animation.
Oh, I'd completely get that, yeah.
No, not much of an inspiration there.
What about the writing and the humor, though, or
dude,
something like that?
I love the humor. I love the jokes that they do. I love how far they take things, but that's just
now,
a guilty pleasure, I guess.
Doesn't that type of humor... Now, obviously, it can't show up physically in your drawings, but doesn't that, you know, kind of go into your mental mind state as far as to what you want to create?
No.
Not in the slightest.
No, man. When I'm watching South Park, I just turn my brain off.
So, after the big spiel about how you can't explain how to become an artist, you just pick up on these things, you're now telling me you, in fact, shut your brain off.
Yeah, for South Park.
This is a fucking curveball you're throwing me.
That's man, you're thinking about it way too hard right now. You're thinking about it way too hard.
Oh, yeah. You know me.
You can't find... you can. Let me rephrase that. You can find inspiration in anything that you do, but South Park, which is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
South Park, for me, it did not click for anything.
I don't know. I would just argue that you just naturally pick up on everything, and I guess you can turn your brain off, but subconsciously you can't, if that makes sense.
I think subconsciously I just choose when I want it to, like, spark with creativity, if that answers your question.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
So, you just respect the creators of the show then for what they've done, more so than...
They did what they wanted to. I kind of wish that I could have done something so simplistically easy and, like, funny like that.
You think what they do is easy?
Oh, hell no. Do you know how much time they have to, like, put into thinking about stuff like that?
Me and Nathaniel have covered that very in depth by now. Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it. It just doesn't appear like it.
No, they make it, like I said, I think that's just because of the art style they choose, because of how simple it is. Because you know that when South Park started, they did stop motion.
Yeah.
They didn't have it all drawn out
Cut out.
Yeah, it was just cut out pieces of stuff. That's why it looks so jank. Once it was like in the first pilot episode in seasons. But once they actually got a budget going.
Oh yeah,
Comedy Central, like,
they gradually
they funded them so
better.
well until it's just like, yeah, let's just do digital stuff. And their mouth sequences, like, that's one of the biggest things that I noticed a lot of cartoon creators do, is they'll talk about how hard it is to, like, keep the mouth motions going. Because some cartoons will take the extra step to, like, actually sound out the vowels and, like, move their characters' lips or whatnot. And then, like, I'd say that this is more so in the tense of, like, certain animes or, like, other cartoons around that, where, in hindsight of, like, South Park, it's maybe, like, 2 different mouth cycles.
Yeah, it's the same frame, and they just keep repeating it over and over.
Like, and that's it.
Which, honestly, isn't always a bad thing.
No,
it makes dubbing easier.
it's not something that really matters with cartoons.
It makes for great Twitter edits and YouTube poops when you have shit like that.
Exactly.
So I'm for stuff like that.
It works, and I'm hella glad for it.
So they lived out what you would call the ultimate dream.
Sure.
And if they really want to hashtag cancel South Park, then hey man, step out.
I'm
It's
all
fine.
for it. I'm not saying that you guys need to stop because I hate you. I think that you guys did so well in your franchise. You got 2 video games out. It's 22 seasons, I think, right?
Yep, a movie.
Like, you guys did it. Congratulations. For a cartoon of, like, adult humor that didn't just get really annoying and really just, like, why are you still up?
Fell the fuck off.
They did it.
Simpsons.
Yeah, The Simpsons, yeah. And Family Guy. But, yeah.
I honestly... It's weird because I've got seasons 1, 2, and 4. I sold season 3, but I got the early Family Guy seasons over there, and that's really when they stopped being good.
Yeah.
Like, they fell off a long time
Well, you know why, right? A lot of the TV shows that are like that, they're just catering to pop culture at the time.
Lowest common denominator.
Exactly. Keep the originality going. Don't just fall to the crowd of what people are talking about now.
And that's how you felt about the furries.
Sure, yeah.
See? I'm
It's
tying
all
everything
coming around.
together, man.
There you go.
The circle is now complete. When we first met... No, I'm not going to do the whole Darth Vader quote. Do you want to play some Smash?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Let's do it.
I think we got enough in.
You think so? How long is that?
Long enough.